I hope we're all doing really well this Monday, the 27th of October. I always say these months are going super quick through the season, and I hope you're all doing extremely well today. Now, apologies, there's no live show last night. There's not going to be a live show tonight. Half term, being a dad, and all that sort of stuff kind of impacts this channel while it is only just me, and whilst we're trying to grow and get bigger. I hope we're all doing extremely well today. I hope we're all still buzzed from the weekend. I know I am. I did say let's enjoy it. Let's enjoy it. Saturday today. We can talk about some of the games I've not been on actually since the results came out. So yeah, one of the things I will say about this channel, if you're new to this channel, is it's just a fantastic channel. Not just because I'm here. This is an amazing community. Get into this amazing community. The only thing that we do ask is that you be respectful in the chat, be respectful to the community, be respectful to the mods, be respectful to me and to yourself. We don't mind banter. Banter is perfectly acceptable as long as it is spirited in a good way. We have some amazing rival fans on here as well. Other thing to say, I'm not a dictator of this chat. One thing we do differently on here, even though there are super chats, there's all paid stuff on here, I will always try to read out your chats as much as I can. This is why this show takes so long, is because this is your show as much as it is mine. And just because I have an opinion doesn't mean to say that my opinion is the be all and the end all. Sometimes I do get things wrong because I'm just a normal human being. So feel free to get into the chats. Already we've got into the chats. Palace, FTBL, legend of the chat. What's good, JB? I'm very good, my friend. Scott says he will be here shortly. Will you watch United live at Old Trafford this season? If I get an opportunity, my friend, then I will do. It's just about opportunity. Very busy with work and that sort of stuff, but hopefully I should get a chance to do that. So everything you see is live as well. So I'm just going to quickly prepare something as well. So have a quick look. So get into the chat. Let me know what you think about where we are in the league. That's what I really want to know, what your thoughts are. Right now we are sitting 6th in the league, legitimately 6th as well. We were 4th at one point, which is fantastic from where we were. City winning was probably, and Spurs winning were probably the two, or City losing and then Spurs having that win, Arsenal winning as well, Bournemouth winning, Spurs winning, Sunderland winning, City losing, Liverpool losing, and Villa winning. It's a very tight league, and I think we are looking at the top. I think anything from 1 to 10 right now is just so close. So give me your opinions. Let me know about where you think we're going to finish. Arsenal did win. Unlucky. I think, Palace, you said that you feared the worst. I never feared the worst. I get it. I know, Arsenal are a good side, but Arsenal are, they are stumbling away right now to, they are the ones looking like champs, but they're not having it their own way either. So CR7, hello, my friend. Hope you're doing it extremely well. So this is going to be the only show of the day. I'll try and let it go as long as I possibly can. So give me your opinions on the weekend's results. Let me know what you think, and we will talk about, and we'll get on to the head of the show as well. So what are we going? I'm extremely well. Good weekend all round, and I really hope you're well as well, my friend. So let's get into this today. So what are we talking about? So there's loads of stuff. CR7, I'm quite good at remembering your tags and your names. And of course you're very welcome, CR7, my friend. It's always amazing to have United fans on here. In fact, Liverpool fans come on here as well. We get the odd City fan as well, but the one thing I will say about this community is that you're very good at bringing people into this community as well, and we'll definitely have our say. I hope that guy can get his hair cut. Me too. I really do. So let's see. So what I wanted to start off today was transfer news, rumours, and I think it's fair to say let's just get into Baleba. So Baleba, lots of stuff he's coming out now that basically this deal is off. Now I want to go into, give me some of your opinions as to what you think it means by the deal off. Let me know what you think about him. Would you still some people come here to misbehave, and I feel you. CR7, mate, I will put them. People could come here and say whatever they like. It's a free country, right? And if they don't respect this chat, then the ban hammer comes down. Bobby says, "Sorry, I'm late, mate." Bobby, no need to apologise, my friend. You were never late. You're always on time. There is no structure as such, but Bobby is a legend of the chat as well. So, Baleba. So again, give me your opinions on where you think we are. I do think there is a legitimate chat to be had about where you think we are, and that can come into the rest of this week as well. So I think again, what we do is that we've beaten 3 teams on the bounce. Now we stop. In my opinion, very, very happy. Now we go and start to go and work again. Thought we were going to muck up on Saturday, says Leo. Leo, on Saturday, one thing that impressed me, mate, was that I never once thought that Brighton were going to win. I always felt like we had another goal in us. And the thing, Leo, that pleased me was in other seasons we would have completely have dropped, but we didn't. So I feel like, Leo, whilst I'm with you in some respects, it was Leo, agreed, my friend. I completely agree with you, but we're going to concede goals. Like, we know what we are. We know that pivot doesn't work. We know we're not perfect. We know our wing backs are not exactly great, And again, I'm not going to go into necessarily players, because whilst the players are winning, I think whilst we can criticise them, I also think it's fair to support them. Leo, that's us. That's us. I think we are very much that team who can capitulate, and I can see us doing it again. I can see us capitulating again, and I can see us getting beat again. But we didn't. So I think that I'm with you, but hopefully we can start to kind of put those to bed. But at least I'm more happy that we got the 4th goal. So Bobby says, great weekend for the Reds, mate. Absolutely fun. Look, overjoyed the fact that we won another game. Overjoyed then that City lost. Liverpool lost again. Now I'm bittersweet because we have some good Liverpool fans here as well. Now, I have seen some other channels reveling and loving the fact that Liverpool lost, which I get that. City lost. The way that I work is I don't revel in other people's losses, only because I think that we should be a master of what we do. We shouldn't be celebrating other people's bad fortune. Don't get me wrong, they would to us, but I think that we're better than that. It's always good from a rival's perspective in terms of a league position, that I think that other teams around us lose, because it just helps us out. But I don't revel in it. So those channels today who were celebrating like they won the fucking league, like Liverpool's losses, I get it, banter, but I would much prefer to be better than that. I would much prefer to we win our games. We worry about what we do, and we have a certain level of maturity, and we stand above them. I celebrate them losing, lol, winding up loads of people at work. Look, Bobby, mate, does it look when I say that, I completely respect the banter. I think that us as fans have to take a lot of flack as well. So I think that I do have another philosophy in life as well, is that if you can't take it, don't dish it out. So Bobby, I think you are legitimately within your right, my friend, to totally wind them up, my friend. I think we should stop going for Baleba and go for someone who is a playmaker, can also provide world-class long balls. CR7, interesting opinion. I like it. I like Liverpool lost 4 in a row. Jamie Vargas, legend of the chat. We have to stop conceding goals from set pieces. I think we do. The Lich performance was once again underrated when Lemens 2-7. Agree with you. Lemens is brilliant. Lemens is fantastic. Opens for the Health United. South says Xerxes messed up during the set piece. Yes, he did. I do agree with that one. I thought a man of that size should not be losing somebody of that size. So, I thought that he was at fault for that goal, but luckily it didn't cost us too much in the end. At least he says the one guy on Instagram might get a haircut soon. I hope so. United conceding 2 goals after going 3-0 is very concerning. Trying to hit 100 subs by the end of the year. Any tips? Look, guys, I'll say this as well. I as long as you guys don't spam the chat, if you've got anything you want me to support, I'll absolutely support it. Check out Palace FTBL. Go and give them a like over there as well. Look, mate, Palace is all about believe in what you're doing, right? And it's all about the hustle. Believe, mate. You got to keep posting. Believe in the things that you do, and good things will come back to you. So I'm a believer in give back to people as well. So guys, if you want to check him out, check out his edits as well. Go over there and give him some love as well. And trust me, you'll more than be able to get 100 subs. So you'll be fine. You just got to believe in it, my friend. Scotty, legend of the chat, who's back now, absolute legend, and one of the best mods on any platform at all. So Baleba, let's start to get into the Baleba stuff. Cell7 says even though Shesko didn't have the best games, he still hold at play and headed the ball to Burn, which also assist with that amazing turn. Exactly. Look, what we are for the first time, we are in a good state and a good position, and it's nice to see. It is nice to see. Yeah, check him out. Premier League this season is very interesting. We are 4th, yet Sunderland and Bournemouth are both. No, we're actually 6th, my friend. So we're actually 6th right now, which is not a bad thing. So we're sitting on 6 on 16 points. City on 16, Sunderland 17, Tottenham 17, Bournemouth 18. It is a ridiculously competitive season this year. We should be in and amongst that as well. Trust the process with this team. Good days are ahead for United. Amorim in all the way. So so to that, Jamie, that's a very good segue into Carlos Baleba. So apparently Amorim, and this is coming from lots of reports now. So again, as we say, coming up to that time of year where we're going to be starting to seeing these reports coming through about signings and whatever else. So Baleba's is being reported today, and I want to ask, and because I'm going to hold myself to account on this as well, because I was one of the people that was screaming for him, signing for £100 million, 115, and I give my reasons for that. I'll go over my reasons for signing him as well. Let's get through this because I will hold myself accountable as I always do. So it looks like United are cooling their interest. So the thing that's come out today is that basically how Amorim has cooled his interest, how the club are looking at other targets, which I think is very, very interesting. When you're looking at the performances of Baleba this season, and we have to, one of my things now that I look for in players, which is taking me probably a good while, is to look at the red flags and to look at it. It can't only just be how they play on the pitch. Now, his stats are fantastic. If you go onto any stats site now, and as much as I like stats can be manipulated to wherever you want them to be, right? So I like stats as a guide. I use stats as an overall guide, but I also use the eye test because I think the eye test is very, very good, and you can always tell a good player or not. So Baleba's stats right now are very, very good. Okay, so that's over the last year. They are very, very good. But what is air apparent is that Baleba is obviously his head's been turned and his head is not in the game. Now, there are a couple of factors here in regards to the fact of his age. Okay, he's a young guy, and yes, I would be expecting his head maybe to have been turned. Mainu. If we look at Mainu around the same age this season, he's not been the best either, and his game has been impacted by the fact he's not playing, hasn't had the best of seasons. So I look at that as a red flag, but then I also say, look, these guys are young guys. He's still a young guy, but the ability is still there. Now, second to that is the price. Now, I think Brighton played a very, very dangerous game in terms of what they wanted in terms of money for the players. They were looking at 110 million. We were looking around 60. I think maybe we would have done a deal around 70. Now, absolutely. And I'm a very fair person. Sometimes through gritted teeth, but I do have to say this, that I think Ineos, I'm going to separate it out. The football inside, I think I right now I applaud them. It's looking like that they absolutely did the right thing, and I will come back onto that. We need to trust Aaron. Look at the stats from Ten Hag first 9 games compared to Aaron's first 9 games. He has more points, more goals, less losses in Aaron. We trust. And Scotty, you're preaching to the converted here, man. I've been supporting Amorim even though I started to question him. I've been supporting him even after Grimsby, which was horrific, and I got pelters on here. You're preaching to me. I've been preaching since the start of the season that I'd give him until the end of the season, and I think you're right, Scott. CR7 says, would Hojlund or Anderson fit our system? Anderson, all of the way. Anderson for me is amazing, and we go through some of his stats as well. Because I want to compare some of his stats to Andrey Santos, who is on the thumbnail as well. Thomas Shelburne says, thank you for your stream. Been in a wheelchair for a few years, but your stream have had me strength to stand and walk to the computer just to comment. Just to Thomas, right? Thomas, mate, that is, I don't know how much of that is true, but no, but listen, Thomas, hilarious. Thomas, that Thomas, that and look, Scotty is a legend, and Scotty is the Banhammer man, and Scotty is a legend. Thomas, mate, my humour at times can go into some really, really, really dark places. That is funny. That's very, very funny. Thomas, I'll give you props because that is funny. Thomas, look, all I'm going to say is for anybody who does suffer from, because now, Thomas, you've put me in a position, right? So for those of you who are ably not quite there, sympathies completely. Thomas, you're a bad person. You're a bad person, but funny. You're a bad person. totally just thrown me there, mate. Thomas, you're a bad person. You are bad person, but funny. Okay, so Baleba, there are certain comments that just absolutely crack me up, and that, Thomas, is funny. I think we have a team which we can easily win. I'm actually, oh, for God's, I'm actually, if it makes you feel better, my mates call me Hot Wheels. Oh, bloody hell, Thomas. I mean, look, Thomas, all I can say, legend. I don't know how much of that now is true, Thomas, because you've totally just thrown me off a cliff with that one, mate. I don't know how much of that is true, Thomas. But all I'm going to say right now is you're a legend, and that has really cracked me. No, but Thomas, Scott, I promise you, Scott can take a joke. Scott is a legend, but Scott is very, very defensive, and he is the banhammer man. So Scott is a ledge. Thomas, you're a ledge. Hot Wheels, mate. You've now taken residence up in my head now, Thomas. So that is very, 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 very well done. You are King Mod, Scott. So Thomas, very, very well done. There are some things that really, really make me laugh. So thank you for creating, for planting planting your seed in my head. That is ridiculous, but you are funny. I wanted to try, but I guess, yeah. Oh, guys, you can't, just hilarious. I mean, I can't, my brain today. You guys are cracking me up. Thomas, and Donny, brilliant. Which game is the most memorable to you and which you have watched live in a stadium? So I've said this a couple of times. The most memorable game to me was the Arsenal United 99 FA Cup semi-final where Giggsy scored that goal. Brilliant. I was there live for that. And the most memorable game for me was the treble final against Bayern Munich. Absolute. I watched so many games, but I think that treble 99 final for me was just unbelievable. Watching it on TV, remember going into the 90th minute, just feeling total despair. Total despair. I was 16 years old, total despair. Not only because of that, but only because we'd literally scraped past Arsenal. We'd won the FA Cup. That was hard enough. And then going to that final, and we were awful. We were dog. We were absolutely awful. I remember, was it what was his name? Yanka. And he hit Kirsten Yanka, and he hit the post, and Effenberg as well. That free kick, and we were just awful. And then I remember like head in my hands, and then Sheringham scores that goal, and then you just go into utter joy, thinking, we can at least go to penalties here, and then getting another corner, and Solskjaer has won it. It sends shivers down my spine now. And then I just remember Sami Kufor on the floor bawling his eyes out. Oh, I remember that. I was horrible. But yeah, what a game. People saying that in Birmingham and Cunha are bringing the same era as Ronaldo and Rooney. Don't get me wrong, they are great players, but not at that level. No, I agree with you. I also, and I'll come on to that as well. My favourite game was Roma in the Champions League when we won 7-1. I was at Old Trafford for the second leg. Nice one, Scotty. Remember again watching that leg live. Brilliant. They're not at that level. Of course they're not. But I saw a fucking shitty podcast, right? Absolute dog shit podcast. And on it was Lescott and some other mug. And they were basically saying that they are United players, but they're mid-table players, because that's all we are now. We are a mid-table team. And I'm like, who is Lescott to be judging anybody? Like City, who are above us because they scored more goals, on this shitty, no thought out, mindless, stupid fucking podcast, talking about how these two players, who are absolutely being fantastic, are mid-table players. I mean, they would get. I think Cunha. I think the pair of them would at at the moment, I think would pretty much not walk, but they'd be in most top 4, top 5 teams. There's just this rhetoric that people can't stand us when we do well. They love us to be down in the dumps. They hate the fact that we're 6th. And all they want to do is just spew their shit. I'm going to Selhurst Park on the 9th to watch Palace v Brighton. My school used to take us to a game when they did for GCSE. We'd go to games. My son supports Palace. There you go. So, Baleba. Where are we? So, it looks like Ruben. No, I'm going to go back a step. So, I did say I'm going to address this first. I think this is fair. But I did say in the summer that I think Baleba would come into this side. It will be a transformative signing. Martin from Birmingham, hello, my friend. United supporter. Welcome, my friend. Hope you're doing extremely well today. You are welcome here. So I said that Baleba in the summer, even at 115 million, would be a good signing. Now, my reasoning for that, and this is why I still think Wirtz is not the worst signing in the world, is when you're signing these players at 20 years old, you can take that money and say, look, if we have them for 10 years, that's 15 million a year. Let's just say it's like 100 million. You split that over 10 years as 10 million pounds a year, right? Even if they don't work out, even after 5 years, as long as they're a reasonable Premier League player, you've spent 100, right? You would then sell them, say they're 25 years old. They're going to be still worth at least 50 to 60 million. It's cost you 40 million to have them over 5 years. Again, it works out well, right? If that player is worth the money. So I still think I will still stand by that in the right circumstance, if you buy a world-class player or a potentially world-class player at a young age and you spread that over 10 years, so you've bought him after 5, then once it's paid off, you're going to make your money. So if it say cost you, for example, that it costs you 15 million pounds a season to have him, you sell him after 5, sell him for 50 million, okay, you've not necessarily made your money back, but it's not cost you 115, so it's cost you 60 million. So I think that logic works, right? And I still stand by, at that time, Baleba was probably the one to go for. Now, I now have to be fair, and I have to say, look, I have to give props to whoever decided not to just cave in and pay 100 million. Now, whether that was on purpose, whether that was basically just luck, I don't know. Whether they had the money that they were prepared to do that. But now, as the transfer window or the season progresses, this is why it's so dangerous at the very beginning of a transfer, at the end of a window to score it, right? I scored it at 4. Some of you are scoring it at 8 and a 9, right? But now the window is progressing. I originally scored it at 4. And I'll still score it lower on the basis that some of the length of time that it took us, some of the length of time it meant that these players couldn't be in the team play. But I would now need to start to move the needle a little bit and say, well, actually, it's looking like this window is probably, for me, jump from a 4 to maybe a 6. Because if you look at the signings that we signed Lamens, brilliant. Baleba as well. If we'd have signed him, maybe I would have scored the window down, because who's to say that he would have been playing well? So I've got to give props at the very top of this show when we're talking about this player. I have to give props because it's looking like the football inside have actually made a decision that's really, really good. So I've got to say it. I've got to give praise. I have to say that Baleba not coming, it looks like the right deal. Now, the caveat to that, and I always have to be logical and sometimes defend my own opinion, is that because he's a young guy, has him not getting his way impacted his performances on the pitch? And I'm probably going to say yes. So I think right now, the credit goes to United for not shelling out 100 million. Can you imagine if Baleba was in this team right now at 110 million pounds and he was awful? Who do you think would be getting more shit? Liverpool with Wirtz or United for signing this player? So we will sort of know that as well. Now, Baleba as well. It's always been subbed 60 minutes. I was not impressed. Casemiro looked so much better than him as well. Now I was gonna do, and I will do one tomorrow. Is I was gonna do a part of the show on Casemiro, because ultimately, as much as I don't think Casemiro has got a future at this club, again, when I see things that not I've got wrong, but where I think I need to rectify a situation, I actually think Casemiro has done quite well. I think Casemiro this season has been the destroyer. I don't think Casemiro works in a double pivot. He's too slow for a pivot. He doesn't work. I think he's too slow. But where he does work is when you're compact and he sits in front of that back three. I think he's a destroyer. The problem that he's got right now is that his legs are not there anymore. But I actually think Casemiro is doing a really, really good job. And for me, the reason why I'm mentioning that now is the Baleba stuff, looking at how he played and how Casemiro played, and Casemiro's looking better than a kid. I have to again give props to him, and I have to give props to the club for that. So I think Baleba, for me, his mentality is not right this season. I think the only way that Baleba comes back into this, and I think him and his team need to get their heads around this, is that if they start playing well, they will get back into contention. If they want this move to us or a bigger club, then they need to get this young lad back in the game. They need to get his head back in the game. I'm still a fan, but right now I think that if I'm spending my money, and I'm spending big money, it's not going on him. So yeah, give me your thoughts. Give me your thoughts and opinions. Do you think this is the blip because he's a young player? Do you think we should still sign him? How much would you think that you would sign him for? Bobby's right. Double tap the screen. Give us a like. Give us a favourite and subscribe. And I do absolutely read out your chat. So let's go back through some of these chats again. Martin, hello, my friend. Yes, Bobby. Glory, Man United. Bobby, we are now your Preston North End fan. Himanshu says, glory, Man United. Martin Grant, thank you. It is more enjoyable talking about the Reds as we are playing better. Exactly. United can finish in the top three easily if they're consistent. And that's the key. Consistency is the key. We all know that, right? But if we can be consistent, we've got one game a week. I'm gonna hold back right now until we get that consistency. When we get to Christmas, all bets are off. When we get to Christmas, if we're in touching distance of top three, I will be with you. My TV loading screen just hit the corner. Do people still watch for that to happen? And maybe surely Liverpool. Why would you choose? Who would you choose to bring back, McTominay or Greenwood? McTominay. Greenwood for me is one of those things whereby it's always going to be a conversation. I think that Greenwood is one of those divisive players. One thing I hate to see with the Greenwood stuff is that there are people who want him in this team. I get that. There are people that don't, right? But the one thing that bugs me more than anything else about him is that when fans or people get annoyed with each other because people want him in or out, who create the situation? Him. So it bugs me a bit that the fact that this player created a situation that he didn't need to create, and yet people are arguing over something that he allegedly did. We all know the tapes and things that are there. Take that out for a second. Some people can't. I can't. But I would never judge a person. I'm not going to judge you because you want him in the squad. Just as I'd hope that people wouldn't judge me because I don't want him in the squad. But what bugs the thing that bugs the shit out of me about the whole thing is that people are arguing, but he did it. He did something which people either don't care about, which is up to you, or people do care about, and you've got these millionaire football players who are causing people to argue on the things that they allegedly did or didn't. So for me, on the basis that I think with the baggage that he carries, McTominay every day of the week. So that's that. I'm off that. JB for Christmas. Bobby wants the new Bobby wants the new Preston North End kit. I'm sure that can be arranged. I'm sure. How much does that cost? About £2.50. I'm sure that can be arranged, mate. Rudy says, see us. Greenwood. Bobby says, McSauce. Rohit says, hello, Kawanka, I'm back. Of course, I remember you. Legend as always. So, Baleba. So I think that where we are with him is, I think that watch this space. I wouldn't rule it out. You know, I just think that right now, I think we have to move on. The funny thing for me is the Brighton price war that we spoke about on here, the bidding war that Brighton wanted. We did say on here that they need to be very careful, because if he doesn't play well, they could have had 100. In fact, they could have probably had about 80 million. And if he keeps playing the way that he does, that bidding war is gone. So I think Brighton are almost praying, and it's in their interest that he starts to play well again, because this price war that they wanted to have may or may not happen, and that's the price you pay. You know, I think that right now it seems like we absolutely made the right call, and I'm critical. I will never stop criticising Ineos. I'll never stop criticising, telling them to leave the club. But with the football insider, you have to separate that out. And I have to give props to the football insider. I think as a move, I think it was the right decision to make. Santos says no more 100 million for Baleba. Santos, you're right, my friend. 100% right. Herb, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll come on to that. There is no off topic. I've come on with some topics to talk about. This is the only show of the day, so we can make this into a little bit of an evening show as well, and we can go off topics. So it's absolutely fine. Guys, remember, first and foremost about this show, this is your show. Shasem says, Alanga, McTominay, Anthony, Greenwood, everyone becomes good after leaving United. Anthony, mate, I'm not having that. Anthony is in the Spanish league. No disrespects to the Spanish league, but it is the Spanish league. Anthony can. I'm not bothered. Alanga's not tearing up trees, mate. Alanga's not tearing up trees. I do agree that Alanga is a good player, but Alanga was never going to get his chance here. McTominay, yeah. I mean, McTominay going from McFred to a Ballon d'Or is ridiculous. I mean, how can you go from being the ridicule of to McFred to a Ballon d'Or? Ridiculous, mate. Greenwood was always a good player. Look, Greenwood was good here. Okay, Greenwood was good here. He was a good player here. He just made some decisions that weren't right. And whether, there's a phrase that you can get away with one. And I think that Greenwood got away with one. But there are certain things you can do that you can get away with, but some people will never forgive that. So he made his bed. He's got to lie in it. And I know a lot of people would bring him back, but for the exposure, look, we're trying to build a club of something different, right? We're trying to build a club that is something different. And even if Mbappe was offered to us, and Mbappe had done something allegedly that was going to bring heat on this club, I wouldn't want him. We're talking about trying to do something different here, right? And this is why we need to do something different. We need to focus on football, not focus on these fucking players. So Greenwood for me would bring too much heat, and I'm taking everything else out for now. All I'm saying is with the amount of heat and media speculation that he would bring on this club, it would destabilise a fragile club already. So for me, that's the reason. Firstly, well, there are other reasons. Firstly, but for me, the political reason, the political friendly reason as to why I wouldn't bring him back is because I think there's too much heat on this club. I do have my own personal reasons why I wouldn't bring him back, but I'm not going to bring that on to here. But for professional footballing reasons, I wouldn't bring him back. I wouldn't bring him back because I just think the heat on this club will be far, far too much. Don't forget that Rasmus is potentially going to stay at Napoli, and we'll come on to that next, actually. So I will come on to that next. Her 1234 says, "Good evening, mate. Off topic, but both Erik ten Hag and Amrin have given us some memorable moments, but I hope Amrin is the one to give us the trophies." True. Erik ten Hag did give us 2 trophies, mate, to be fair. So he did give us an FA Cup and a Carabao Cup as well. So, you know, I think, Herb, what I want is I don't want a flash in the pan. What I want is I demand we win the league every single season, right? I demand we win the Champions League, blah, 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 blah. That's not going to happen. What I want with Amorim is I want sustained success. What does that mean to me? Sustained success to me means we finish in the Champions League spaces most seasons. We at least mount some sort of title charge every season. So, you know, whether we go top for a couple of months, second, third, second, first, right? And then we win the odd cup here and there. That for me is where I want to be. I don't want to win an FA Cup and finish 12th. I want to win an FA Cup and be in the Champions League. I want to finish second. Well, I want to finish first. I want to finish first and win a league. I want to finish second, third, and win a Carabao Cup. I want to get to a Champions League semi-final, a final. That for me now is about consistency and it's consistency of being a relevant club again. Kansha says, I can't read that, my friend. I hope you are all right. Spirit says, you never walk alone for life. Welcome, my friend. Absolute rival fans in here are amazing. Fought on the bounce. Did United benefit from letting Hojlund go? Did we benefit? And that is a bloody good question. I think that's a very, very good question, my friend. We'll come on to Rasmus as well. I think that is a very, very good question. I think it's a really, really simple question, but I think it's a brilliant question. Did we benefit? I think Rasmus did, and I'm pleased for him. I think we benefited on the basis that Rasmus, because we failed him, and this is not me, the club failed that kid. On so many levels. They failed him so many levels. So I think that if he'd have been playing, his head would have been down, and I think he probably wouldn't have been the player. I think he needed that move. The benefit for us comes in the fact that we'll get money back for him. So people can question Shesko. right? People can talk about Shesko. The benefit, sadly, for me, is the fact that we're going to get money back for him and we'll probably break even. And I'm pleased we've let him go because he deserved his shot. He really, really did. So I think it's sad to say that the benefit that we get is monetary, which I think that we needed to do. But I'm pleased that they made the right decision and let him go. It's one of those bittersweet for me. There's not many players that look, when players leave this club, I'm generally happy for most of the players. I want them to succeed, right? Rasmus is one of those ones I really want to see him do well. I really, really want to see him do well. So I think the benefit is for him. The benefit for us is financial, but I'm pleased for him. I believe everyone deserves a second chance. Well said, Scotty. 4 on the bounce is good, bro. My best mate is United. I'm Liverpool. It's actually good banter currently. Spirit, look, mate, it is. As I say, get some amazing Liverpool fans on here. Welcome, my friend. It's I think on here and you know when Scott talks about the banter as well on here, it's just out of respect, isn't it? You know, you guys have been so good for so long and we've been so bad for so long as well. That it's just nice. It's nice right now to taste a little bit of what Liverpool have had for the last eight years. Build the culture for this club from the ground up. Plant the seed and let it grow. Jamie, legend. Hope says agreed. I was pulling my hair up when Eze scored yesterday. I know. Did Rasmus fell the club or did the club fell him? As I said, I think it's 80-20. I'd probably say 90-10. I mean, I think we failed him, mate. I do. He said football fans need a new sport. They just moan, never happy. Why bother? Go fishing or something you enjoy. We're happy. We're happy on here. I think what you do is I think that you mistake people talking about things that they're passionate about and critiquing, right? So football is an ever expanding expectation sport, a high end sport. The expectations are high. I don't believe there's anything wrong in having standards. In my life, I have standards. I think most people do have a standard. It doesn't matter how high your standards are. You know, if your standard in life is just to be happy, that's a standard. You can be happy. You can be extremely happy, and you can be extremely proud of something, but you can always want to achieve more. You know, this club, for example, this is the sport that we're in. This is the sport that we love. If you don't like football, move on. Because if you don't understand football and you've not watched it, you can be happy. This is not complaining. This is talking amongst ourselves as fans as to a sport that we love. I'm not going to start talking about NFL, fishing. I'm not going to start talking about all different sports because I'm bored and I want to come onto a channel and then stop spouting stuff because I'm bored. If you don't know football, you're not passionate about it, simply move on. Simply move on. Or go fishing. So, what else are we going to talk about today? So, let's talk about Rasmus Højlund. Okay, so Rasmus Højlund, I don't currently know his stats, but I think Rasmus Højlund, fishing is for our men. No, it is. Let me just get Rasmus's stats up. Let me just get Rasmus's stats up. Don't need that. Don't need that. Don't need that. Let's have a look. Let's get Rasmus's stats up. Rasmus Højlund stats. Here we go. Okay, so let's do this. Rasmus Højlund. Getting your opinions about him. Let's do this. So, Rasmus Højlund at the moment This season, four games in Serie A, Champions League 2 games, 4 goals in 6. And I think he scored a couple as well for international as well. So Rasmus Højlund, I'm bloody pleased. I'm not going to lie. As Scott said there, did Rasmus fail us or did we fail him? We failed him, in my opinion. Watched him in pre-season. I was very, very critical of him in pre-season. I used to fish until I nearly died of being so bored. I've been fishing a couple of times. I think it's something that you either like or you don't. I think people like it because fish can't talk back, right? So I think some people just enjoy fishing. I know many people who love fishing. People enjoy it. It's not for me. Rasmus Højlund. So I remember saying in the pre-season, if this was City, any big club right now who wanted to change their striker, would do it. So if it was a City, even though they liked the player, what they would have done is they would have said, look, it's not worked out. You've had 2 years here and we're going to sell you. Right? That's what we did. That's what I asked for, or that's what I said, and that's exactly what they did. So I think again, I think they did the right thing. You look at City, and I know this is probably not the same thing. Ray says, what happened on the channel, Power? Is it about football? It is specifically about United. It's a Man United fan channel. We do talk about football. We do go off on a tangent as well. So feel free to get involved. If it's not for you, my friend, it doesn't matter if you don't support us. Get into this community. It's a brilliant community. We do randomly talk about different things as well. But feel free to get into this chat, and you will learn, Ray. This is the best. We are not the biggest, but we certainly are the best. Sea fishing is fun, but on rivers and lakes and ponds make you. It is a fan channel, so not the same thing, but. You look at Alvarez for City. I think they got 75 million quid for him, even though he was a great striker. They got rid of him. They could happily have kept him. Probably not the same thing, but Rasmus. They could have kept Rasmus. They didn't need to sell him. I think they did the right thing. I remember I can't remember which game it was. Was it against West Ham? He certainly wasn't against Leeds. He was shit against Leeds. But the pre-season wise, was one of the games where he came out, was at Bournemouth, where he came out like a bull in China shop. Again, he just wasn't getting those runs. I think Amorim made his mind up very, very quickly on him. And I just think, all round, I just think it was the absolute right thing to do. I think for Rasmus, I think for us, I think if Amorim didn't feel like he was his sort of player, and the fact you can see that it's worked out well because of his numbers. He's playing extremely well. So well, Napoli want to buy him. We've also got to look behind. One of the things that I think sometimes we are narrow-minded on is that you look at our players, right? We talk about we're very, very bad at selling players, which we are. Historically, many clubs buy players, they sell those players on, right? The last couple of sales that we've done, McTominay, and I mean he's gone from laughing stock, which seems crazy now, to Ballon d'Or, right? Rasmus, another signing, he's gone, and now Napoli are willing only after 3 months, after 6 months, they're talking about buying him early. Anthony. He looks like a different player. Rashford, you could argue Rashford has gone, and Rashford is doing some good stuff as well. So as much as yes, these players might be, I don't know the word flop, but players have not worked out well. But then the fact they've gone to other teams, it just means that we can also sell players. Not every player we buy is going to be a hit. Not every player that we buy is going to be a hit. But for example, Xerxes will probably go. He may not. If he does, somebody's going to willing to buy him because they. I would rather when we sell players, teams think we don't know how to use these players, and these players are still going to be good because it means that they're going to know that they're going to be getting a quality player and they're going to be prepared to pay the money. So there is that aspect as well. 43 million is a loss from what we paid out, but he's better than football. I would let him go at that price. I think Scott. I think we break even. I think we do break even. We're not going to sell these players at a loss because I don't think we can. I would sell him. I think we bought him for 64 or something along those lines. I think if you look at the amortization and the money you get back from him as well, I think we break even. I don't know how you can check that out, Scott, but I think that we would break even on that. When you take into account contract, take into account loan, there's a loan fee as well. The add-ons would not have been paid. I don't know, actually. I don't know, Scotty. Let me have a look. Let me have a look. Let's have a quick look. GPT. Okay, right. Let's have a little look. So. Right. So we bought him apparently for 75 million euros. Okay, so we're going to do this live. Okay, so yeah, so the fee was 64 million up front plus 8 million in add-ons, which is not going to be paid. Loan fee of 6 million euros with an option to buy 40 million pounds. So it says that it says that we could make a loss of 23.5 million, but it basically says that if we receive the full fee of 40 million plus the loan fees plus the wages saved, then we could break even, but it's unlikely to break even. So Scott, you are right, mate. So it looks like we could break even, but it looks like we're probably going to make some sort of loss on it. So would you rather make a 10 million pound loss? Again, I think compared to where we were, I don't want to make a loss on him, but and Scott does make a good point. So I think I'm still happy for him. It's really pleasing to me. It is possible to break even. But yeah, Scott, agreed. But I'm pleased for him. If it's if we were to make a loss on him, then maybe in future when we bring these players in, these young players in, that we give them a platform to succeed. So I'm pleased for Rasmus. I'm pleased, and I really do hope that he does go. So the other thing I wanted to talk about was Andrey Santos. Now, again, what I do like to do, and I will always prefix this with using stats. I've just got some brief stats on him as well. You watched the El Clasico? No, I didn't watch it. No, not For me, Scott says, I don't do IFRS, but I do. I don't do ifs, but I do absolute. So it is possible. So Andrey Santos. So Andrey Santos, I think, is 2021. Chelsea defensive midfielder. I don't think he's been doing particularly well. Andrey Stiller's stats are quite impressive. Yeah, they are. And we've done a show on those as well. And I think when we get to the back end of Christmas, I'll start doing a show. And then what I'll do is I'll switch over to another format so I can put those stats on screen and we can talk about those stats as well. But I do have some stats. I want to just do a quick comparison between Andrey Santos, Ugarte. I've got Anderson for comparison as well, and we can look at those stats together. So Andrey Santos, Liverpool, Chelsea, 21 years old. Now, he has gone back out on loan a couple of times. He's not getting the starts, and apparently he is on that list. So when we're talking about United's midfield list, we are looking at Stiller, we are looking at Michael says, hi, United guy. Hello, my friend. So when we are talking about midfielders, which we are going to do, I think that we need to. We are looking at Andrey Santos. We are looking at Stiller. We are looking at Baleba is still on there as well. We are looking at Wharton as well, and Anderson is on that list as well. So Santos is not exactly playing for Chelsea at the moment. 21 years old. He's been there for a couple of years now since he was a younger. He has gone back on loan to Brazil at one point, and now he's literally back on the scene and on our radar as well. Kobe Mainoo as well. There's talk about Mainoo as well. So we bring in Santos, and again, I don't think these two players are the same players. But again, there is talk about Mainoo going out on loan, or Mainoo possibly being sold. Scott says, Baleba, I would leave. I would go for Anderson or Stiller. Scott, I would go for Anderson and Stiller. I think we need two, mate. I'd go for them both. So I'm going to put Kobe to the side because I don't think Kobe is that position. We'll look at Ugarte, some of these stats, and we'll look at Anderson as well. So the first thing to say on Andrey Santos is that I'm unsure. I've got his stats here, and spoiler alert, his stats are pretty decent. These stats are basically based on all leagues, not just the Premier League, and it gives you a score of a percentile. So 100% means he's the best. Anything lower, so you kind of want him to be up and around really for an elite player. Anything above 85 and upwards. The first thing to say for me would be pretty much anything that Chelsea don't want and Chelsea want to sell, I'm immediately on the back foot, and I have an alert to say that I know exactly what they're going to try to do. Andrey Santos, they're going to want big money for him as well. There is no way they bought Garnacho off us for 40 million. There's no way they'll be giving him to us less than 60 million. I think, they know we're looking at a midfielder. They know we're looking at an Anderson. They know we're looking at a Wharton. As much as these are not all the same players, they're going to want 60 million. So that immediately, for me, for a player who's not playing for potential, is a lot of money. So that immediately puts me at a standoff. Arizona says, I think Baleba deal was off, putting in consideration that bringing him will make us lose players to the AFCON. I don't necessarily... Look, I think the AFCON, I think the AFCON is being used by people to beat us up with. We've got players. Maybe they're not the best players, but we've still got players. So I think that we can still be okay. Okay, I do get that these players will go. But what I'm puzzled about, and you guys can maybe help me here, is that people in this fan base are saying Xerxes a baller, Xerxes can play. Mainu should be playing. Mainu's a baller. Let's give him time, right? Ahmad's going to go. Ahmad will be a miss, but whether we like it or not, Mazraoui can come back in, and Mazraoui can come back in. Mazraoui has been injured. If he doesn't go to the AFCON, then he can play. Ahmad will probably be the miss there, right? So, Mbeumo will go, right? Xerxes can come in. Xerxes the baller that everybody is asking for. Xerxes the baller, everyone is asking to play. He can play there. So he'll get his shot. If not, Bruno can play in that position. And Mainu, the other one, everyone else is saying Mainu should be in this team. Mainu's a baller. Mainu should be playing. So Mainu will get into this team as well. So I just think the AFCON is being used as a stick to beat us with. And I think as a fan base, if those of you who are Mainu needs his shot, he'll get his shot. For those who want Xerxes to get his shot, he'll get his shot. So I'm not worried about the AFCON at all. We stand with Amorim till maybe. Ahmad, Mbeumo and Baleba all represent for AFCON. Baleba's not here. So Baleba's not coming. He's not coming in the next window, so I'm not bothered about that just yet. Hugo Chowuku says, hi, I'm afraid AFCON is a waste of time. I mean, it's not important to us, but it's important to AFCON. So, our second 11 is not that good, by the way. But Arizona, we're not going to need a second 11. The only players that we'll lose will be Mbeumo, will be Ahmad, and Mazraoui potentially. Those three players. But again, this fan base is saying Mainu is a baller. Mainu should be playing. Xerxes is a baller. Xerxes should be playing. Leon, people are saying that Leon as well. Well, why can't Leon come in and play as a wing back? So all I'm saying is, whilst I agree we are going to lose two of our best players, there are players that people in this fan base are creaming their pants for, and guess what? They're going to get their chance. Phoenix Caliber says it's not ideal to have too many AFCON players. Baleba's audition made it easy for us. He's worth nowhere near that amount of money. Being asked for him any realistic left wing back options. JB Glory MUFC. Yes, Kelvin. At the moment, mate, not at the moment. There's nobody being mentioned. Doesn't mean to say that there's not. But right now, I don't think a wing back is an option right now. I know Hernandez in Saudi, but again, he's going to want massive money. So I think right now, I think left wing back is a must. But I think that's something that we chuck down the line because there's nothing being mentioned about that. And Burma could pick up seriously an injury. Scott, he could do. But this is why when we scout our players and we buy our players, this is why we need to do our homework. But again, Scott, I guess the same could be said for the World Cup, right? World Cup wise, who's to say that our players are not going to get injured? But, United again getting carried by Harry Maguire, the GOAT. We're not. Maguire didn't play. So we're not. So what I wanted to do was go through some of the stats of Santos, and you give me what you feel. So I'm going to basically compare them, and you can tell me what. So I'm going to do a comparison between Elliot Anderson, who is the one that I want, and Santos. You can tell me what you think about these stats. Opus for the Health says, United we stand, we do, and we rise. In Mbeumo, Ahmad Mazraoui is almost an entire outside. A bit risky. Would be nice to have some additional depth, but easier said than done. Exactly. No, and again, very, very fair points. Sancho getting subbed off after being subbed was a beautiful moment. Skinny Bob. As I say, there are certain players that 95% of our players, I I want to do well, right? Because I think they just because they played and it's not worked out, I want them to do well. There are only probably 2 players that from the players that we sold that I don't want to do well. Garnacho is one of them. I don't really care what he does, and probably to a more degree, Sancho. Freedom fight Sancho. Be careful what you wish for, Sancho, because you'll end up messing up your career. And Skinny Bob, you're right. I don't revel in people's misery, but sometimes even I'm allowed to smirk, and I'm not going to lie, I was laughing. Because be careful what you wish for, sunshine, because sometimes karma's a bitch, and it comes and bites you back on the arse. And Mr. Sancho, you've got what you wanted. You've hardly played football in the last 2 years. You'd be more concerned about playing on your PlayStation or your Xbox or wherever you've got, not putting in the hard work. And sadly, my friend, what you need to do to earn your money is play football, which you've not been doing, and you're shit. So Arizona says, yeah, left wing back should be considered, and also let's build our squad depth. We need more quality players to make up a second 11. Agree completely. Kelvin says, Casemiro really held the team. We conceded 2 goals when he came out. Kelvin, I changed the show at the last second, but I wanted to give praise to Casemiro. I'll give praise to Casemiro tomorrow because I think Casemiro has actually done well. And to be fair, when I'm wrong on something, I'm wrong. So I will give praise to him. Dakota can play on the right side. Sancho didn't even shake the manager's hand. I know he won't be seeing much game time if he doesn't sort his attitude out. We all know. Garnacho looks washed. He does. Chelsea's washed. I wonder if he gets a bonus for playing 30 minutes. Could go towards... amazing. So, let's get through some of these stats. So, Andrey Santos compared to Anderson. I would love MU to show interest in Semenyo from Bournemouth. 4-2-1-2, look. £65 million for him. I've looked at his stats. His stats are not great. And also, we play him as a number 10. So, Semenyo, whilst I think he's a good player, I think he really is, we don't need him. We don't need him. He's not going to be a wing back. We would deploy him as a split 10, as a wide 10 to split, but we don't need him, mate. So, I get it, and I like Semenyo, but Semenyo, I feel, could be one of those players who's just never going to make one of the top 4 teams. I don't know. I like him, but not for us. Amorim should still be sacked. How do you feel, Nico Paz? I don't think Amorim will be sacked. I mean, Delo can be on the right side. Don't worry, I do know that. Elliot Anderson had to be the Elliot Anderson has to be the priority. Don't fancy doing business with Chelsea. I agree. Bro is dreaming of Semenyo after spending so much money on the attack. Can Semenyo play wing back? I don't think he will. I don't think we're going to spend 65-70 million pounds on him being a wing back. Scott disagrees. I just don't think that we will. But I'm not that right. So Semenyo. So I'm going to compare him to Anderson because Anderson is the one that I want to go through. Now there are loads and loads of stats, but I'm just going to go for the headline stats. Using FBref, and they do go into some really, really intense stats, but I'm just going to go through some of these stats. Now, to bear this in mind, what I want is a high energy, ball carrying, defensive minded. I mean, Nico Pat's stats should be monitored. I'll have to look at that. He's not. I don't think he is. So this is what my concern is. So I'll go through his stats. You tell me what you think about them. I'm going to compare him to Anderson, the one that I want, and then we can talk about this. So we'll go through things like total shots, assists. So this is more about the attacking attributes from him. So Anderson, non-penalty goals, 0.06 per 90. And Andrey Santos, 0.25. We'll go through some of these. Total shots, so shots total. Elliot and has 1.1 per game, which puts him in the 61st percentile. Santos has 1.38, which puts him up in the 77th percentile. Assists, 0.14 a game, and this is for his position, and 0.14 per game in the 75th percentile. Assists, 1.14, roughly about the same. Assisted goals, expected assisted goals, 0.13 in the 75th percentile for Anderson, 0.1 for Santos, 63rd percentile. Shot creation, and this is where this is interesting, and this is sort of where it gets interesting. The shot creation actions from Anderson is 3.39 a game, which is the 87th percentile, which you're talking about that more elite. Shot creation chances from Santos is 1.67, so it puts him down at the 25th percentile, which is not great. Okay, passes attempted. Anderson is 57.04 per game. It puts him up into that 71st percentile. Santos is 52.17, which is 59. This is where it gets interesting. So passes completed is 81%, which puts him in the 31st percentile for Anderson, and 88.5% completed passes puts Santos in the 83rd percentile. So his passes completed are slightly better. Now, this is where Anderson absolutely smashes Santos. So, progressive passes per game, 6.03, 77th percentile, and Santos 4.72, 51 percentile. Progressive carries, 1.7 per game, 0.85 for Santos. Successful take-ons, 1.2 per game, 0.39 for Santos. Touches in the penalty box, 2.28 for Anderson, 1.31 for Santos. Progressive passes recorded per game, 2.7 for Anderson and 0.99 for Santos. So overall, looking at that sort of passes completion section, progressive passes, progressive carries, take-ons, penalty actions, progressive passes recorded, Anderson is up and around that 85 percentile, and Santos is around the 55-60 percentile. So Elliot Anderson at ball carrying, attempted passes, passes completion, passes, carries, take-ons, touches, simply no contest whatsoever. Now let's take a look at the defensive attributes. So tackles per game. Anderson is 2.95 and Santos is 3.3. Interceptions per game, 1 for Elliot Anderson, and Andrey Santos is 1.15. Blocks per game, 1.13 for Anderson, 1.38 for Santos. Clearances, 2.06, 2.06 as well for Santos. Aerials, 1.64 for Anderson, and 1.10. So when we're looking at those stats overall, so we're talking about tackles, interceptions, blocks, clearances, we're talking roughly again around the 80th percentile for Anderson, and surprisingly for Andrey Santos, again we are looking around that 80th percentile as well. So the one thing that Elliot Anderson does, and I will need to mention this as well, is that Santos is all those stats are not necessarily from the Premier League. They're actually from going back to the Brazilian league. These stats are from the last year, so where I don't think he's really played in the Premier League that much. So these are going back over time as well. So what is really clear from me, and when you compare Anderson to anybody, he's so consistent. Now we're talking about Santos's strengths are tackles, interceptions, blocks, clearances. Right, those are his strengths. So when we are looking at a defensive midfield type, Santos does fit into those stats. But Anderson then is very good at everything. He's very good at assists, creating shot actions, passes, progressive runs, carries, take-ons, progressive passes, tackles, interceptions, blocks, clearances. It is so clear for me that Anderson now, when you're so we are comparing, for me, Anderson being, for me right now, one of the best of the best all-round defensive players, all-round best complete midfielder. So for me, he is the yardstick. Let me go back and then we'll see some of this as well. So a little look. So Tchouaméni says, Skinny Bob, in a parallel universe, why would Madrid sell him? They wouldn't. Malacia is ready to redeem himself. Let's see. Good evening. United FC attack has improved. There's energy. There's synergy. Chelsea, give Chelsea Xerxes for a loan. No chance. I didn't say they would sell him. I'm just saying, yeah. Forget we still had Malacia. You guys need to make Alex Ferguson proud. So Jim would probably have to bid his net worth to even get Tchouaméni's agent's number. Anderson is great at a classic player. What about the dual one stat? So his dual, and again, his dual stats, duals one, so aerial duels, 85%, so 1.664 a game. Santos is about 1.04 a game. So again, his stats are impressive across the board. Bidding for RM players is pointless. If they become available, everyone will know that there will be a reason. If you wanted too many, he had to be for. Not agreed. Anderson, it's clear, should be the priority summer signing. Agree with you. He's valued at 75 million. Santos won't suit well. Lacking consistency is something to consider. What about his buyout clause? Would have ever be considered? Take record of decision making of Santos. They give us Casemiro, and now you want to go for their Casemiro replacement. They've got Camavinga too, but why would they sell one of the best? Let's talk about more Hojlund, the Sporting midfielders. Too slow. I did do. I will actually. He is too slow, but as you've asked, let's do Hojlund as well. So let's do Hojlund quickly, just for comparison, because I think it's only fair. So let's do. I can't even bloody spell his name. Hojlund. Okay, let's do Hojlund. Give me a second. I'll do Hojlund. Okay. Let's do Hojlund. Okay. Bloody hell. Jesus Christ. Okay. I do have stats. Oh, it's gone down. Anyway, so let's have a look. Only way you're going to get an RM is offering mainly with cash. Yo, what's up? I love your glasses. Thank you, my friend. And my sneaker collection. So let's take a look at this. So Hojlund. Now I have done stats on Hojlund before, but where Hojlund does shine, I can't find his stats now, but I do have them somewhere. Hojlund is very, very good at progressive passes and carries. Now the problem with Hojlund, donated £5. Let's. I'm sure that will show up, my friend. Let's have a little look. Insidery, my friend. Legend of the chat. Thank you, my friend. Let's see when that comes through. Please name those nice sneakers. Please name those behind you. Sneakers behind me are Mizuno Wave Rebellion Pro, and they are Chinese brand. I can't remember what they're called. I do have the boxes. They're called. They are. Give me a second. They are Tenshire Cheetahs. That's what they're called. And they are behind me. Those are trainers. I do have more. I'm looking at a ridiculous number of trainers just there, by the way. Those ones are tier. They got sent to me to test. Those ones over there are mount to coast. I do have a bunch of those trainers. I do have videos coming out on those trainers on my other channel as well, and I do have a bunch of trainers down there. I've got so many trainers. It is not even funny. Adam, what's that? Now, how does that compare? You have a great collection. Thank you, my friend. For the next show, JB, would you get me velvet? Yes. Right. What I'll do for the next show is I will write it down, and I will do Valverde stats, and I will do Wharton stats. So what I'll do for the next show is I'll do a comparison. I'll do a full comparison between Valverde, Anderson, Hojlund, Anderson, and all of those guys again. So yes, I will. Inside with any big plans for Halloween? Spending it with my children, taking them out, trick or treating, and scaring some people. What do they typically go for? That white runner looks clean. So that white one there is I'll show you. That one is a track shoe. So that one is a spike shoe. That one is a spike shoe. So that one is a track shoe. Haven't taken these out yet. I'm gonna take these out on a run. I will do a tester on those as well. So I do have another channel. 3 wins and this guy thinks we can buy our own plays. I don't know. What do they typically go for? That white one looks clean. Any big plans? So those ones, mate. The white ones there can do about £50, mate. I don't think they're that expensive actually. In says I'm in New Orleans for Halloween. Amazing. Is that shoe for football? Nope. All of my shoes are running shoes. I do run. I do have another channel. Link for the sneaker. I will put a link up. I tell you what I'll do. I'll put a link in the video in the comment section. So after the video, I will put a link in the video description. So then you can see them afterwards. I wear long style slip-ons. You should create a video showing your slip. I actually do have another channel. All of my sneakers are on there, so I do actually have another channel. And it's quite large, to be fair. So if you want to check out my other channel, it's called Techno Runner. And I reviewed lots and lots of channels. Yeah, so it's called Techno Runner Reviews. Yeah, I've got on there trainers, technology. I've not posted loads of stuff on there for the last couple of weeks just because of this channel. Yeah, there's all sorts of stuff on that channel. There's stuff on the channel about me as well. So that's kind of the big channel. Where are you from, bro? Love the United content. Thank you. I'm from the UK, in Essex. That is where I'm from. You should create. Hojlund is too good in pressing with a speed of 35 KPA more assists in his name. Kelvin, the next show I will do that as well. Hojlund for me, I think he's for the money that he'll cost. I'm not sure whether there's better options. I wouldn't dispute that he's a fantastic player. I think he is. I just wonder. Could we get him for a good price? Sporting are notoriously difficult to deal with. So I wonder. Name the sneaker channel. Yeah, I've done that. How old are you, bro? How old am I? I'm 42 years old. Yeah. Have you ever done any content, any United YouTube? Have you ever done content with any United YouTube channels? No, never have, mate. No. If there's anybody that you want me to do content with, reach out to them, mate. Ask them. Nobody. I mean, we're getting reasonably big on here. Oh my, yes, mate. I am. It's Skinny Bob. It's basically because the two things are not connected. They're just not connected. That's a channel that I started. Did you reach Scott? I did, mate. I did. I heard nothing back. Didn't hear a dicky bird, mate. I reached out. I sent him a message. I sent him an email. Sent him an X. Not a dicky bird, mate. Not a dicky bird back, mate. So, look, mate. I am one of these people. I would absolutely promote anybody else on here. Basically, for me, it's all about giving back as well. So if you cheers, Jeff. So if you know anything about me, if you look at my channel that I do all sorts of stuff. I support men's health as well. So yeah. So let's So guys, just get in. If you get into the other channel as well, all sorts of stuff on there. If you want to know more about me, that's on this. There's some really, really personal stuff on there as well. So if you want to know a little bit more about me personally, that's all on there as well. So it's quite open. I'm quite open about stuff on there as well. And this channel was created more about fun and more about my passion for football. So yeah. But yeah, I mean, look, if this channel is coming to a point where I would love to do this full time. And if there are other content creators out there that you want to see me work with, mention me to them. I absolutely no issue with that at all. So yes, guys, I'm going to go. Probably won't be a show tonight. Just it's half term and all that sort of stuff. I will be back tomorrow, mate. I'd love to get Ben Jacobs on here. I'd love to. I don't, mate. I can try, but I doubt it, mate. I doubt he'd come on here, mate. He seems like a lovely guy, but I think let's wait to get a little bit bigger first. But anybody knows, that's true, Scott. That's true. If anybody knows any sort of footballing person or whatever, I'd love to get them onto the channel just for a chat. I'd love that. So if anybody knows of any football content creators, it doesn't matter if they're a rival. I'd love to get them on here and create content that you guys really want to see, because this is what this is about, right? This is about that. So yeah, guys, I am going to go. I will, on the next show, I will do, I take on board your comments, and I will do a Valverde sort of, I'll do an evening show. I think maybe I'll push that into an evening show, maybe tomorrow, and we'll get into a midfield discussion as well, and we can talk about, who we think are best midfield options would be, because I think that's an interesting topic to talk about. And then obviously come in with any of your comments as well. So don't forget to check out Palace for me. Check out Palace FTBL. He does football in shorts. Big supporter of the channel, and just go and give him some love. He's looking to get 100 subs by the end of the year. Check him out. Go and do some amazing stuff. Don't forget to check out the other channel, Techno Runner. Go and check that out as well. No obligation at all, guys, but just if you want to see me doing something different, that's out there as well. Arizona says, I love what you're doing on this channel. I think I'm learning a lot from you. I'm a sports analyst, basically all about football, transfer and sports and predictions on future games. Arizona, legend, my friend. Thank you so much. Look, I learn from you guys as well, right? I've been watching football for 38 years. Ruby says, can you tell Oscar to shut up? Who's Oscar? But no, I mean, I learn from you guys all of the time. And as I say, just because I have an opinion doesn't mean that I'm right. Why does Oscar need to be quiet? You just need to tell me why. I don't want to get into your fights. I don't think he's being mean. Oscar, stop being mean. But I have to not set up my channel. I have not set up my channel. Still about to get a camera. Look, if you set up your channel, I'd love to come on your channel. I don't know what your channel is about, but I'd love to come on that. If you're willing to have me, I'd love to come on your channel. You can come on mine. He called me a B word. That's not nice, Ruby, is it? That isn't nice. To tell Oscar to behave and have more respect. Don't be one of them. Ruby's going on a timeout. So, guys, I am going to go. Amazing. Thank you so much for being here, guys. This channel literally is nothing without you guys. So I can only thank you. Yeah, don't forget to reach out to me. Reach out to the other channel. If you want to see me do some stuff with other people, reach out to them as well. Tell them to come here to this community. This is one of the best communities. We may not be the biggest, but we are the best. Do not forget that. We are the best on here. So have a good rest of your morning, evening, afternoon, wherever you are. Get into the comments. Comment about stuff. 4112. I would normally be back tonight, but I won't be back tonight. I'll be back tomorrow. I'll be back tomorrow, maybe mid-morning sometime. It's difficult to do a regular schedule because I work as well, mate. I'm always hustling, so I should be back tomorrow morning-ish, but I will let you know. Appreciate you as well, my friend. So yeah, guys, take it easy, take care of yourselves, and I will be back tomorrow. So take care, and I'll see you on the next one.